Today is not just another diplomatic visit. Today is history. The Prime Minister of India steps onto Ghanaian soil, not as a master, not as an exploiter, but as a partner. And waiting to greet him is the President of Ghana, his arms open wide, his words echoing across the world. Welcome to the birthplace of African freedom. Today we do not sign a contract of chains. Today we sign a covenant of liberation. For too long, the wealth of Africa has flowed out of Africa. For too long, our gold, our bauxite, our diamonds, our oil, the lifeblood of our people, has been stolen, undervalued, and exported by powers who gave us crumbs in return. But today, Ghana stands tall. Today, Ghana signs a $100 billion deal with India. Not in the shadows of colonial contracts, but in the bright light of sovereignty. This is not just about money. This is about dignity. This is about Africa saying to the world, we are open for partnership, not plunder. But let us be clear, the West is watching. They are shaking in their towers. They are calling emergency meetings in Washington, in Paris, in London. They are asking themselves, how could Ghana sign a $100 billion deal without us? How could India, once colonized, now be shaping the future with Africa? What will happen when this model spreads across the continent? And let me tell you, it will spread. Because this is more than Ghana and India. This is the rebirth of Pan-African solidarity, now expanded across oceans, linking Accra to New Delhi, Ouagadougou to Mumbai, Bamako to Chennai. This is the dream of unity made real. The handshake between Ghana's president and India's prime minister is not just diplomacy, it is prophecy fulfilled. It is the beginning of a new global power. Welcome to African Spotlight 24, your premier source for news and current affairs from across the continent. We're glad you're here.
The city of Accra is alive. The streets are overflowing with people waving flags of red, gold, and green. The drums of Africa thunder across Independence Square. Children are dancing, women are ululating, and men are chanting with fists raised high to the heavens. Something historic is about to happen. Something so monumental that the ground beneath our feet feels like it is shifting. And then it happens. The motorcade arrives. Out steps the Prime Minister of India, one of the most powerful men on earth. But this is no ordinary state visit. This is not a handshake of politeness. This is history being written before our very eyes. Waiting for him, with arms wide open, is the President of Ghana, his face lit with pride, his voice echoing like the great Kwame Nkrumah himself. A $100 billion gold and bauxite deal. Brothers and sisters, hear me well. This is not just a deal. This is not just money. This is liberation. For too long, Africa's wealth has been siphoned away by the greedy hands of the West. For centuries, our gold lined the vaults of Europe while our people were left in poverty. Our bauxite built their industries while we struggled with unemployment. Our diamonds, our oil, our cocoa, all stolen under the banner of trade and aid. But today, Ghana has said no more. This $100 billion partnership with India is not charity. It is not exploitation. It is a new covenant, a covenant of equality, respect, and sovereignty. A deal that says, Africa will no longer sell its soul for pennies. Africa will negotiate on its own terms, with partners who understand the pain of colonization and the triumph of freedom. Do you realize what $100 billion means? This is not pocket change. This is not foreign aid with strings attached. This is one of the largest single deals in African history. For decades, the narrative was the same. Africa could not negotiate without the West. If Africa wanted loans, it had to go to the IMF or the World Bank. If Africa wanted investors, it had to beg Europe or America. But Ghana has broken the script. By turning to India, Ghana has sent a message loud and clear. Africa has options. And that shakes the very foundations of the Western system. Why? Because the West built its empire on the assumption that Africa would always be dependent, always be desperate, always be too divided to act boldly. But now, Ghana has flipped the table. This is why the deal shakes the world. Because it is not just economic, it is psychological. It tells the world that Africa will no longer kneel. Let us not forget where we stand. Ghana was the first African nation to break free from colonial rule in 1957. Under the great Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana became the beacon of African freedom, the lighthouse that guided others to independence. And Nkrumah's dream was clear: Pan-African unity. He warned us that without economic independence, political independence meant nothing. He told us that Africa's future would only be secure when Africans controlled their own resources. Today, that dream breathes again. When Ghana signs a $100 billion deal with India, it is not just a contract. It is Nkrumah's vision made flesh. It is Africa standing tall, negotiating with dignity, creating wealth not for the West, but for its own children. The spirit of Nkrumah is alive in Accra. His dream lives in this partnership, and his voice echoes in every African heart tonight. Forward ever, backward never. Now let us turn to India. Why India? Why now? India is not Europe. India is not America. India is not a colonizer. India was once a colony itself. It knows the sting of oppression. It knows the fight for freedom. And today, India is rising. One of the fastest growing economies on earth, a giant in technology, energy, and diplomacy. India is also a leader in BRICS, the global bloc challenging Western dominance. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, nations working together to break the stranglehold of the dollar and the West. By partnering with India, Ghana is not just signing a deal. Ghana is joining a movement for a multipolar world, where no single empire dictates the fate of others. A movement where Africa and Asia stand side by side, no longer pawns in someone else's game. This deal is worth $100 billion. Not in debt, not in aid, not in crumbs, but in real investment. Gold and bauxite, two of Ghana's most valuable resources. For decades, Western companies extracted them for cheap, exporting billions while leaving little for Ghanaians. But with India, the terms are different. The deal includes revenue sharing, infrastructure projects, technology transfers, and job creation for Ghanaians. Schools, hospitals, railways, factories. This is not just a mining deal. This is a nation-building deal. This is Ghana taking control of its destiny. And the people know it. That is why the streets erupted in celebration. Because they know, this deal is not just about today. It is about the future. And here is where the fire spreads. Brothers and sisters, let us not forget the Sahel. Let us not forget Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, the ES alliance. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the young revolutionary who has become the face of Pan-African resistance, the Sahel has declared independence from Western domination. They have kicked out French troops. They have stood up to the IMF. They have said, Africa will decide its own future. Now imagine this: Ghana, leading with India, the AES alliance, rising in the Sahel, and India, connecting them all to Asia. Do you see it? Do you feel it? This is the birth of a new axis. An axis of freedom. An axis of resistance. An axis of progress. Traore's revolution in the Sahel, combined with Ghana's leadership in West Africa, and India's partnership across the ocean. This is how a new global power is forged. Make no mistake, the West is not celebrating tonight. In Washington, the State Department is drafting statements. In Paris, politicians are fuming. In London, analysts are calling it a disaster. Because they know what this means. Africa is slipping from their grip. For centuries, they controlled Africa's resources. For decades, they dictated Africa's politics. But with one deal, Ghana and India have shown that Africa no longer needs them. And the West cannot stand it. They will call it dangerous. They will call it reckless. They will say Africa is being trapped. So where does this leave us, brothers and sisters? It leaves us at the dawn of a new era. Africa and Asia, hand in hand. Ghana and India, shoulder to shoulder. The AES alliance and BRICS, reshaping the very foundations of the global order. This is not just about money. It is about sovereignty. It is about dignity. It is about the children of Africa no longer watching their future stolen. A new global power is rising. And it is not led by the West. It is led by the people who were once colonized, now uniting to say, never again. So let the world tremble. Let the West panic. Let the drums of Africa thunder and the bells of Asia ring. Because together, we are unstoppable. This is the dawn of a new age. The dawn of Africa rising. The dawn of a partnership that will echo across centuries. And when history books are written, they will say, it began in Ghana, with a handshake worth $100 billion, with a partnership that changed everything. If you believe in this revolution, if you believe in Africa rising, type in the comments, new global power. Smash that like button, share this video with the world, and let the message ring out from Accra to Delhi, from Ouagadougou to Johannesburg. The age of exploitation is over. The age of partnership has begun. And together, Africa and Asia will rise.
Disclaimer: the content of this video is based on credible, publicly available information and is intended for educational, analytical, and informational purposes only. African Spotlight 24 does not promote hate, violence, misinformation, or political unrest. Our goal is to deliver thoughtful insights, highlight local voices, and encourage informed conversations throughout Africa.